Terrorist drives through crowd on Bastille Day. At least 84 people have died from a truck driver who at first shot into crowds celebrating Bastille Day in Nice, France. He then drove into the crowd, literally running people over for 1.2 miles or 2 kilometers. There was a parade going on and this psycho actually drove straight through it. The truck driver was named Mohammed Boulel and has not been officially linked to jihadist groups. The attack, however, is being labeled as a terrorist attack. Mohammed was married with 3 children, though he was separated from his wife, and people who lived near him described him as being a loner who never said hello. He did have a previous criminal record, though it was mostly for petty crimes. He was not on any sort of watch list. Among the dead were 2 children, the elderly, and tourists, some of them American. There are another 28 children hospitalized at this time. One witness present at the parade said that they caught a glimpse of the guy's face, and he appeared to be having fun. Streets in Nice are now abandoned as locals recover physically and emotionally from this terrible act of brutality. Pope Francis even tweeted his support and said, "I pray for the victims of the attack in Nice and their families. I ask God to convert the hearts of the violent, blinded by hate." A French member of parliament was even there with his family, celebrating like many others, and he witnessed the entire thing. Bastille Day is an annual celebration of the storming of the Bastille, a historic event in French history. It's basically like Independence Day or Canada Day. Imagine someone horrible enough to carry out an act of hatred on a day like Independence Day. The storming of the Bastille was the start of the French Revolution, which overthrew Louis XVI and the French monarchy. Civilians stormed a prison in Paris called the Bastille after years of abuse by the monarchy. The Bastille, though it only had a few prisoners at the time, 7 to be exact, was where Louis XVI would send opponents of the monarchy to rot, often without trial. If you've ever heard of Marie Antoinette and the let them eat cake thing, well, she didn't say let them eat cake, but she and Louis XVI ignored the desolation and poverty of the French people until they had no choice but to revolt. Bastille Day symbolized the French civilians taking back their country after Louis planned to raise taxes yet again. The French people had had enough. Civilians stormed the fortress to get their hands on an armory stashed with weapons. The storming of the Bastille and the French Revolution was the start of an extremely violent time. Tens of thousands of aristocracy were beheaded using the French guillotine. Bastille Day is now celebrated peacefully all over the world by French people. The fact that this horrible person chose to carry out his attack on a day of peace is completely atrocious. France is to observe 3 days of mourning to honor the victims of this horrible act of violence. On behalf of the people of IO, our hearts go out to the people of France and the victims of the families suffering from this tragedy. When will it end? That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in. Why don't you click one of these 2 videos right over here to keep watching.